Hi folks, welcome to part 6 of money making indicators, and this one is the TFC Cloud Dashboard. Very important to see stuff at a glance. These of course are the indicators, part 1 to 6, that I use to make my 0.5% a day minimum. Very useful, and you don't need to be sat in front of a computer all day. Now, you need to see the TFC Cloud video really before you watch this. It will be useful, even though I am going to do a recap here. So you need to see part 2. That will be really useful before you watch this. So let's have a look at the problem we have on individual charts. And if you watch part 5, the squeeze radar screen, it's a similar thing. We can't watch every time frame and every currency pair at once. We need something that will tell us something about all the currency pairs and all the time frames at a glance. So here we're on the Euro Pound 5 minute, and if we were watching this, then we would have seen all 4 TFC clouds go red there at the London Open, along with the trixes and the squeeze. Nice trade, no problem. Since then, as we get into the afternoon, things have changed, haven't they? The TFC clouds are going all green. If we look on the pound dollar 1 minute, earlier on this morning, they went red, telling us short trades only, and we got the short squeeze. Great. But we had to have this on the chart to see it, didn't we? Pound New Zealand. Earlier on, these were all green, all 4 TFC clouds, so we're in long trades only. But then it started to change. Can you see? We started getting red at the top, 3 reds, and then 4 reds as the trend changed. Euro dollar. Earlier on, all 4 are red. Red squeeze is squeeze, so that was worth about 10 pips. But then it started to change again, didn't it? Look. Can you see? And now they're all green, suggesting no short trades. But could we have seen that while we're watching everything else? Euro CAD 15 minute. Apart from a short interlude here, everything's been showing long trades. But even here, your 4-hour TFC Cloud Light didn't go red. So there was no short trade there. But very, very good long trades. Aussie yen 30 minutes. Bag of nails this, isn't it? You've never got, apart from in the middle of the night in the Australian session, Japanese, Asian session, which you got long trades there, you've got nothing here. It's just, you've got mixture of lights, which means stay away from that pair. Certainly the 30-minute time frame. Pound chef. Yep. European Open, you've got everything green, your trixes, your TFC clouds, your long squeeze, and away you go. But things have changed, haven't they? And it started here, makes you wary, and then there you're stopping your long trades because you don't have everything green. And then eventually it's saying no long trades anymore, everything's short. Okay, but out, and then let's have a look at this one, dollar yen. During the Asian session, you've got your short, but things have changed in the London session, haven't they? Everything's gone to green here, and then a mixture as we go along. How do you see this all at once? That is the question. Well, we do it using this. The TFC Cloud Dashboard will tell us everything at a glance. So, let's have a look. Okay, let's do a quick recap on the TFC Cloud. So it's the Ichimoku, and if you like the full word, Kinko Hio, which means one look or at a glance. And it measures market sentiment and trend, but I particularly use it for trend. And Ichimoku means one look, or at a glance in Japanese. and it reflects the indicator's intent to measure multiple aspects of the market at once. But again, trend trading is it for me. Yes, an 8-year-old kid can use it, and you know my old saying, if you haven't got an 8-year-old kid, borrow one from next door. Right, I use the Kumu part. There's all sorts of technical parts to the Ichimoku, but I use the Kumu, okay? Kumu means cloud. And yet, one of my mentors, my main mentor, was very keen on this. And it's the heart and soul of the Ichimoku anyway. And it's the most immediately visible component of the Ichimoku. And it's the Kumu, it's the cloud. And I can immediately identify the prevailing trend. So I've put the cloud on here. As you know, I don't have it actually on the chart because we use lights instead. But this is the cloud. And, you know, we go price below the cloud only short, price above the cloud only long, price in the cloud, sit on your hands. But again, we use it with our other indicators, don't we, as a Forex Codes system. So there you go, price above the cloud only long, price below the cloud only short. So it's given us the decision on which to trade, which direction to trade. Now if the other indicators are indicating long but the cloud is telling us short, we don't do anything, do we? Okay. Now break through the cloud and a subsequent move above or below it will suggest a better and more profitable trade, more probable trade. And we unclutter the charts. We don't have the cloud actually on the chart. We use the traffic lights version. Again, look at the video part 2 to get a full half hour or 40-minute look at this. The lights turn green when price has moved up through the cloud. They show yellow when price is inside the cloud, and the traffic lights show red when the price falls through the cloud. This gives us an instant visual, a one look if you like, as to where price is in relation to the TFC cloud. Simple. Simples. So just to recap, in its most basic interpretation, when price is trading above the Kumu, above the cloud, it's bullish, since it indicates the current price is higher than the historical average. Likewise, if price is trading below the Kumu, below the cloud, that indicates that bearish sentiment is stronger. And if price is trading within the Kumu, it indicates a loss of trend, since the space between the Kumu boundaries is the ultimate expression of equilibrium. Sit on your hands. So it must be understood that by anybody who wishes to use the power of the TFC cloud, that it is first and foremost a trend trading system. And that's a key point. It's not for counter trend trading. So the TFC cloud on its own will not teach you the underlying philosophy of trend following. We've got to use the other confirming indicators that we've seen in part 1 to part 5 of this video series on the playlist. Things such as the TFC candles and wave, TFC tricks, TFC squeeze, TFC volume, the average daily range. Yeah, it's a mixture of all these things. But again, the way I've made this system with the Forex codes, you can see it at a glance. The multiple time frame version is used and shows the status of the TFC cloud on multiple time frames at a glance. Even more so when we use the dashboard, as you will see later in this video. It shows the current time frame plus the next 3 higher time frames. Depending on what time frame you're on, sometimes it shows just 2 time frames. And that's through experimentation. For a long trade, all 4 time frames must show green. For a short trade, all 4 time frames must show red, obviously. The next slide shows a 5-minute chart with 4 TFC Cloud timeframes. And that is the current time frame, which is 5, and then 3 higher time frames. So you can see the cloud is not on here, but the lights are on here instead. All 4 green lights means price is above the cloud, above the Kumu, on all 4 of these time frames. So you can see in this, we've got a change of trend. We've got the thing I like, which is the 1, 2, 3 pattern, showing a possible change of trend. All 4 lights are green. The wave is respected, and the candles are light green, which means go long. Yep, but you've seen in the other videos. So let's now look at the TFC Cloud Dashboard, because that shows us what's going on in any currency pair on all the time frames. Okay, so let's look at that now. So on the left hand side we've got a graphic of the TFC Cloud Dashboard. Obviously down the left hand side all the currency pairs, and along the top all the different time frames, so you can see at a glance what's going on in any currency pair with the Cloud Dashboard, and therefore look at the trends. In brief, it's proprietary software. I had this written for me in the Forex Codes. It's not been released. I've used it for my own private trading. All currency pairs plus oil, gold, some indices. You can see we've got the S&P 500 there. We've got gold there. You can have WTI oil, and really whatever that your broker provides, basically. You got all your time frames. Now, this does take up CPU. The more currency pairs you have, I don't need all these currency pairs. I'm just showing this as an example. I can get by with half a dozen currency pairs, and I don't need every time frame. You know. So if you want to make this faster, use less currency pairs and less time frames. If you only use the whole thing, everything, just put it on one chart. Yep, and you're fine. Even just taking the 1 minute time frame off will speed this thing up, because you can imagine all the calculations that it's doing on the 1 minute, plus every single currency pair. So, you know, we've got to use our common sense. And we're seeing what's happening live. As you'll see when I go live to the charts now, that you can see what's happening with the TFC Cloud live. Okay, let's take a look. We're on the pound dollar. Now you can see that the M5 is red, 30 1 hour red, but the M15 is green. So I'm not taking any short trades because the M15 at the moment is green. And you can see that here. M15 is green, everything else is red. You might say, well, look, everything's red, so as soon as the M15 goes red, we're going short again, assuming that other things like the tricks and so on are right. Now, another beautiful thing about the TFC Cloud Dashboard is if you want to say, look at the dollar yen, now everything's green on the dollar yen, so you'd be only looking for long trades. Just click on the dollar yen, and you're on that currency pair. No need to change charts here. So you're on that currency pair now, and you can see dollar yen, and there's your clouds as we put them, MTF, multiple time frame, and there's your dashboard. But everything's green, as you can see. So Aussie yen, things are turning red, aren't they? There's only the 1 minute not gone red now. This is wavering between green and yellow on the 4 hour, but everything else is red. That's on the Aussie yen. See, we're getting a squeeze to the downside. Everything's gone red. And we know that on the 15-minute chart it's red, the 30-minute chart it's red. By the way, you can change time frames as well. Just click on the time frame. Bang. And you've changed time frames. Okay. Again, the Aussie yen's coming into a squeeze. Everything's red. But not the 1 minute. So you can change time frames. I'll go back to the 5 minute. Or you can change currency pairs. Let's look at gold. Earlier on today, everything red, so you're short. But things have changed, haven't they? It's a mixed picture now. You can see a mixed picture. You've got weekly, daily, 4 hour red, 1 hour undecided. The shorter time frames are green apart from the 5 minute, which is what we're on at the moment. That's red. But when it goes green, there may be a long trade setting up. You'd have to look at everything else that's going along. Yep. So there's not really much else to say on this because it's self-explanatory, isn't it? You can change currency pairs, you can change time frames, you can see exactly what's going on the TFC Cloud, on any currency pair you have on here, any time frame you have on here. Yep. Okay, folks, if you've got any questions, fire away down below. Also, please subscribe, tell your friends, like the video, get involved. Okay. Now, in the next video coming up, I'm going to look at the periphery indicators that I use in part 7, and that's the final part of these indicators. And I go through the periphery ones that I use to make my life easier. Okay, everyone, remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. Take care. Before you go, update. Now, remember a few minutes ago I said everything's red here on pound dollar. If this 15 minute goes red, chance of a short trade. Yep. Okay, let's have a look. As you can see, the 15 minutes gone red and the pound dollar has fallen 70 pips since then. And that's just in 30, 40 minutes. This stuff does work, folks. This stuff does work. And you can see that just by using one currency pair and one time frame and looking at everything. We mentioned it, it's happened. Okay, folks, take care.